Okay, hey, welcome everybody to RxPerience, an ASCP podcast. It's your host, Tom Hansel and Chad Wers. And today we are joined by none other than Jen Deviney from the great holy city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome,
The
Jen,
Holy City.
Yeah.
the holy city. God has blessed that city with great, amazing sports teams. So, Jen, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So
So
Jen is
you're
one of our
here.
board directors and the
Yeah.
director of our Mid-Atlantic region.
Yes,
And we're here to talk about the Mid-Atlantic meeting in York, Pennsylvania.
we are. We're very excited. It's in Pennsylvania this year, and York is a new location for us. So that's also very fun. So it ties right into the, what is it, quinticentennial celebrations.
Very
Lots of
good. Very
there.
good. Well, York,
It's a
and I
mouthful.
looked this up for this podcast, but York was the first capital of the United States. Many people probably don't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Another. So kudos to Eric for helping.
I think the Brits were
Yes.
controlling Philadelphia, so I think that's why.
Yes, they ran from Philadelphia to York, and then they ratified the Articles of Confederation, I think, while they were in York. Now, many people may know that York is where the peppermint patty was created, the York peppermint patty. Another historical footnote.
That's right.
And did you know that when they made batches of York peppermint patties, that every batch they had to snap one in half, and if it didn't break perfectly in half, then they threw that batch out and didn't qualify it as a York peppermint patty. Again, just good information about
Fun
York.
fact.
But let's talk about the meeting itself.
Yes. So we are very excited. The Mid-Atlantic has always been a very strong meeting for us, but this year, working to do a few different things. One is plenty of licensure requirement CEs for Pennsylvania and Maryland. So it's a renewal year for Pennsylvania. I know Maryland does the rolling, but we have med safety, we have pain management, opioid, as well as some immunization credits. So if anybody has procrastinated and still needs credits for this year, we have those. But also really like to highlight the professional development track for our student members. This is something that we've done for many years. And the past 2 years, tried to mix the programming up a little bit. So we have different session segments, opportunities for students throughout the entire meeting. So it's not just a one day or the other situation. So we want them to come and really immerse themselves, stay, collaborate, meet other professionals, as well as participate in some of the specific activities that we have. We have a Jerry party on Friday. We do a poster session on Saturday, but we also have a 3-hour specific session on Saturday where they can do some professional development activities, CV reviews, some mock interviewing, how to leverage AI. That was a hot topic last year. So we decided to continue it on for this year, as well as a roundtable where they get to meet different professional members that are attending the meeting. So really excited to be able to offer that for our students.
Awesome. Yeah, the students have been coming to regional meetings in greater numbers and frequency, and it's a great opportunity for us, and it's a great opportunity for them. They come for free; they don't have to pay a registration fee for the meeting. And people ask me all the time, like, "Hey, we have students that are looking for work in long-term care. What's the best thing they should do?" And my comment always is to come to the meetings, because this is where you network. This is where you meet the people that are going to potentially have an opportunity, depending on your situation and how flexible you are and what they're looking for. I mean, this is how careers are made at these meetings, whether it's our annual meeting or the regionals. And ASCP is a little unique in the fact that we're very approachable. We're going to have 60, 70 people at this meeting. You can meet all of them, as you pointed out, with the round table and just at the networking parts of the meeting. And it's a great opportunity to work your way into a potential opportunity after graduation.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree with that.
Yeah.
So Jen, a little bit about your story. You decided you've been with ASCP for a while, but running for the board and being on the board was important to you. Tell me a little bit more about kind of why you decided to do that and kind of grow yourself, but be an active part of what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So when I started in long-term care, which is 22 years ago now, I didn't have any background really. So, ASCP was suggested to me by a mentor and as a resource to be able to learn more and to get engaged. So took that opportunity to heart. So early in my career, it was definitely a way for me to become immersed in long-term care, senior care pharmacy, to be able to have resources and people to reach out to. But for me, through the years, just as a way to get more involved, as a way to give back to the profession. So that's always been, really important to me. I precept students from, the universities here on the western side of Pennsylvania, but found ASCP as another avenue that I could use to support the profession, to be able to further advance, initiatives that, we are finding important and challenging to us, quite frankly, as we move forward.
So anything this year being in that position in the board, working with Rob and other board members that you weren't prepared for and just kind of like blew you away, or you were shocked or just like, man, this is something I wasn't expecting?
Well, I think the PBM reform certainly took us all pleasantly by surprise, seeing that it's really starting to gain momentum and move forward at this point in time. So, very excited about that. Working with a variety of different presidents. Now, this is my 4th year on the board. It's always nice to see their leadership plan and what, specifically they want to focus on. So, Rob's, kind of home concept really resonated with me from a variety of different reasons. I mean, one, as I mentioned, ASCP really has been my professional home for a number of years, but also through my job, we focus a lot on PACE population. So that organization and that kind of sector in long-term care helps individuals age in place at home. So, that, like I said, that home concept just really resonated with me personally.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because, we've been working recently. In fact, just had a phone call last week about the work that you do in the PACE environment. And for people that don't know exactly what PACE is, it's worth looking up. I can never remember the acronym, but it's, what's the acronym for PACE?
It's providing all-inclusive care for the elderly.
That's it. And what it is basically is states have programs to take people that they deem are nursing home eligible, but allow them to continue to live at home with wraparound resources that look like nursing home resources, only there's no beds. So, I worked at a PACE in my previous life as a consultant pharmacist. We had a 450 bed PACE in Cincinnati. And basically they had meal services, they had therapy services, they had pharmacy services. Everything looked like a nursing home except there's no units and no beds, and people came at a frequency that was based on their particular need level. But what's super interesting about it is that it's a carve-out program. So PACE gets paid a set amount of money to care for that individual, and the idea is, can you care for them less expensively than if they did go to a nursing home? Which means if they take risk and take that person, if that person ends up needing to go to a nursing home, that PACE has to pay for that. They have to go to the hospital, that PACE has to pay for it. They're getting all of the healthcare dollars, or for the most part, all the healthcare dollars. But why it's super interesting and the long way around is that we just met with the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Innovation Center about how do we give beneficiaries consultant pharmacist services at home? How do we give them what we would call long-term care pharmacy services at home? And they're very interested, and they want to do some projects or pilots to test both of those concepts. But the one question they asked us was, what insurance providers are already paying for these services? And that's a tough question to answer. In fact, we pushed back a little bit on them and said, well, they don't, for the most part, they don't, because they don't have to. And if they don't have to, they're not going to. But we did talk through that and say, you know what, there are environments where there's some iSNPs and there's some PACE environments that value and pay for basically long-term care pharmacy services and consultant pharmacist services. So they value and see an ROI in paying for those services. So we're going to collect data from them and bring it back to CMMI and say, okay, here's an example of what these payers are willing to pay for those services, so that we can build that, essentially that pilot opportunity. But it was interesting. And I think that it was not something that we anticipated them asking about. Being the innovation center, we thought they would be innovative, but it comes back to what is the real hard, arguably hard value for consultant services and for long-term care pharmacy at home services. And we're super happy that we have people like Jen and Grain and other pharmacies that operate in PACE that can share that information so we can move the ball forward.
Yeah, I mean, PACE, to me, PACE is fabulous. I've been working with PACE organizations for 20 years. I was the first consultant pharmacist, the clinical pharmacist that was working for my organization, and just seeing how it has grown and changed through the years, and how we've diversified our services to help support, the participants of the PACE organization. So excited to be able to share some of those results, both with, you and Jim as you're doing your work, but, we also have an annual meeting session this year, talking about some of the specific work we've done with pharmacist-led disease state management programs. So hoping to get the word out there on, this is an important sector for pharmacists to be aware of, and hopefully to get more involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what Grain and Jen really have proven out across the nation is that they can do healthcare more affordably, but also increase adherence, increase compliance, and do that directly from that patient's home, working, with a program like PACE. And I've been really impressed to see how they're using all the techniques and tools and strategies that they would use in a nursing home, but applying that directly through the PACE and to that patient directly at home. And it's really a concierge service that is a Medicaid program, and it seems to be a win-win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, and it takes me back, you look for threads that weave through the whole industry that you work in. So, consulting pharmacy, there's a component of consulting pharmacy in what you're doing at PACE. There's obviously the packaging, the delivery, the way that meds are provided to people in PACE has a common thread into the way it's provided in long-term care. And to some degree, it takes me all the way back to the very beginning of ASCP, where the consultant pharmacist was the pharmacy, the independent community pharmacy that was consulted by the nursing home to answer the question, how do I take care of all these medications and this person that I now have in this brand new thing called a nursing home, because I can't manage 800 amber vials of meds that come whenever that person runs out and needs a refill. And to some degree, we're back there again right now. The difference is that we have this big group of older adults that doesn't want to go to a nursing home. We really can't, logistically care for in a nursing home at the numbers that they are aging. And they're in the same situation. How do I take care of myself at home? I can't get, mail order amber vials. I'll never be able to manage my 10 medications that way effectively. So how do I do this? And here we are again saying, we can do this. We can package your meds. We can deliver your meds. We can provide a pharmacist to talk to you about your meds. So it's almost like we're reinventing ourselves for this population that is really in the community setting, whether that be in a PACE environment or whatever the future looks like, because they absolutely need those kinds of services. It's fun from that perspective, I think. As long as we win and get what we need done. It's fun.
And get paid for it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And be appropriately reimbursed.
I mean, one of the great things about PACE too is a lot of the centers are either in very rural settings with specific ethnic needs. So whether, yeah.
Just restart that answer.
Okay. Oh, goodness. So I think one of the great things about PACE is that many of the centers are either in very rural or very urban settings. So we definitely recognize the rural need for healthcare resources, for healthcare providers to help fill that gap. But in a lot of the urban populations, very ethnic focused. So we have one group specifically in California, very focused on the Korean population. So needing to provide resources and tools, for that center to be able to continue to support their participants, like you said, Chad, whether it be through packaging or education materials, or how do I talk to my pharmacist? Can my pharmacist come and educate? So really, it's been, I think a remarkable program. So hoping that it continues to gain traction and grow throughout the country.
That's awesome.
Certainly. Right, Jen, what are you looking forward to outside your Mid-Atlantic regional meeting here in a couple weeks for 2026, the remaining of the year, leading up to the annual conference? Anything exciting and anything that you're looking forward to?
No, I mean, I think just, very anxious to get the meeting over with, obviously. So if you have not registered, please do so. We'd love to have you. We've also established a recent relationship with the Pennsylvania Pharmacists Association, which we're super excited about as well. So hoping we get some PPA members that will come and join the conference as well. Obviously, a lot of excitement around the annual meeting this year, but, around that time, we got football season kicking off. So hope to root for my Steelers.
Oh, God. That is something to look forward to.
And one of the smarter board members for ASCP. So
there you go.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for hosting Mid-Atlantic. We're really looking forward to it. Again, that's August 7th and 8th. Am I saying the dates correct?
Yep.
That is correct.
We'll see you up there.
Pennsylvania, and you can register online.
Yep. And one last tidbit. York, Pennsylvania is the snack capital of the world too, if you didn't know that. So Utz, potato chips and pretzels, Snyder's pretzels, and Martin's pretzels, all made in York, Pennsylvania. And pretzels are absolutely my kryptonite. So I have to really probably try to be careful up there and not eat too many of those pretzels.
So pretzels and peppermint patties.
I don't really love peppermint patties. There was a time I did. I will have one when I'm up there because, that's where they're made. So I'm sure we'll have one for everybody up there. Yeah. Register to get your York peppermint patty, and we'll do the snap test.
There we go.
Sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for hosting and taking a little bit of time with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, join us next time on RxPerience.